Hi guys. I'm like multi-streaming everywhere again. Say hi when you come in so I know you're here with me. Oh, thank you, Dee. Oh, I love it. Karen's like, I legit manifested you going live. Can you guys hear? I know TikTok can hear me because I have the phone, but can you guys on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube hear me? Because I got a new microphone, so we're gonna see if it's working. Good morning. Hi, everyone. All right, I'm just making sure this microphone's working. Oh, I love you too. Can Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube people let me know? Sorry, this thing's it's supposed to be off the shoulder and it keeps going up. Can you guys let me know if you can hear me okay with this new microphone? Oh, thank you, Frank. I'm happy you're here with me too. Oh, you have a Pomeranian too. Aren't they the best? Okay, they can hear me. Okay, good. Okay, so obviously, not to split hairs because everybody can say what they want, but I usually don't say like the word attracting or whatever because that really isn't what law of assumption is. But I don't know if you guys know that singer Monita, but she has that song and that song's been in my head because she's amazing. And if you don't know who she is, you need to check her out because she sings like nothing but manifesting songs and she's got the best voice ever. So she has a song called I Don't Chase, I Attract. So we're going to talk about that because a lot of you get really confused with like what is inspired action, or they're like, I feel like I want to do this and I don't know if that's the right thing for me to do, blah, blah, blah. So we don't chase. Oh, good. I sound clear. Excellent. Yes. I got this new mic. I'm trying to get this new camera set up, but it's been a pain in the ass, but we're going to figure it out. So we're getting there slowly but surely. So we have to remember that we're not doing things in the 3D reality to make stuff happen. We're doing things in the 3D reality that support our vision, that support our concept of self. So if your self concept is I'm amazing and incredible and can get everyone I want, well, that version of you is not going to go sit there and chase people. That version of you is not going to accept breadcrumbs. That version of you is not going to deal with disrespect or versions of people that are just being ridiculous, right? And if your self concept in business is that I'm a leader, I'm amazing, incredible, and the right people are supposed to find me, I manifest the best ideal clients to work with, et cetera, then you show up as a leader would do, right? You show up, oh, hi, Katie. You show up as what a leader does, someone who's successful, even if you don't have your business booming yet, even if you aren't bringing in the sales yet, even if you haven't manifested the types of clients or the right clients that you want, that's what you still do. You still show up as a leader. You're not showing up to get a client to come find you. You're not showing up to get money from a sale. You're not showing up to make something happen in the 3D. You are being your self concept, which is I am an online coach. I am a service provider. I am someone who, is teaching people, helping the world transform, whatever your self concept would be, right? So, what does that person do? Is that person just going to sit on the couch and fucking watch TV all day? No, they're doing what makes sense if that's your self concept, right? If your self concept, I'll talk about resistance in a minute because that's a good question. If your self concept is, something about business that isn't coaching or isn't with people, well, if you're an entrepreneur, then you're going to do things that entrepreneurs do. You're not just going to sit on your couch fucking doing nothing all day. So these are the things you have to start understanding is that who are you being? What's your vision of you? And you don't go chase anything or anyone. You are creating your reality based off how you see yourself and the story of your dream life in different areas. That story can change. So you want to make sure focusing on what makes sense. You want to make sure that you're paying attention to your thinking, and you're not trying to get something from someone. I just show up. I just show up every fucking day, right? Like whether it's pre-recorded or live, like I'm showing up because I feel inspired to do this. When is the last time I've done this many lives in a row? Like I don't think ever. But like I feel inspired to do this. It feels right for me, so I'm doing it. I don't know how long it's going to last, but it'll keep lasting until something in me tells me to stop doing it. But this is what we're doing. We're understanding that how you see yourself and the story you hold hold on, this sure is whatever, let it right up. However you see yourself and the story that you hold, the vision you hold of how you see yourself and your story of you and your life and what you get to have is going to be obvious with your actions. Your actions are going to dictate everything. It dictates who you're being. It's really, to me, it's really obvious when I see people's actions. So resistance is when you believe more in the old story of you and the old story of your life more than you believe in the new story of you. So that's why it feels weird. That's why it doesn't feel normal. That's why you're feeling resistance, because it doesn't match your normal state of being. It doesn't match your normal concept of self. It doesn't match your normal belief system about whatever area of your life that you're, overcoming with limiting beliefs, right? So that's what resistance is. It just doesn't match. So that's why you persist in reprogramming. That's why you persist in thinking thoughts that support you moving yourself, your inner world, your inner mindset into a story that allows you more peace, allows you more comfort, allows you, it all has to align and match and go for the aim of what it is you want and who you want to be, trusting and knowing that one day it'll feel normal for me to be this person. You're not that person yet because it isn't who you've been. You're creating you, you're transforming yourself and therefore transforming your world. So that's all resistance is. It just means you don't believe your new thoughts more than you believe your old ones. You still believe the old ones more. So the only way to get around that is to keep persisting until you accept the new story more as your truth than you do the old story as your truth. How do we act chosen? Well, that would determine, how do you see someone in your mind? Like, what's your vision of someone who carries themselves that way? Someone who knows that they're always chosen, that they don't need to settle, that they're not insecure, that they're confident enough to know that they're always chosen. How do you think that person's going to act? I'll give you my interpretation of that. That person's not going to settle for BS. That person's not going to pine or chase over anyone. That person's going to know exactly what they want, and this is what they're going to accept. And they don't really placate and deal with anything that doesn't match that. And they don't cry about it. Like, they know that person will eventually show up the way they desire, or they'll meet somebody in the inner term that has everything they want. They know they're going to get what they want. So that, to me, that's what acting chosen is. You're not going to be chasing after people. You're not going to be accepting and settling for breadcrumbs and things, that don't feel good. You're not going to be feeling insecure dominantly. You're not going to entertain yourself with versions of people that are just not what you truly desire, because that's what most people, oh, I accidentally clicked the comment. I have to figure this thing out, because when I click the comment, and I didn't mean to do that, when I click the comment on this thing, do you see it doesn't show me all of it? And I don't know how to have it show me all of it. And then I lose the comment. It's like the weirdest thing. Yes, I am live. If I keep reacting to the 3D, nothing I want but going to hell, and then what is but going to hell, and then I don't know what that means. I mean, it's really simple to ask yourself this question. If I keep doing the same reaction, am I being the same person doing the same reaction? So if you're not changing, then you don't see yourself different. So you're not being different. How are you expecting to have a different reality if you are exactly the same and you're not willing to think and see yourself differently in relation to what you desire? And then you're not able to hold a story long enough about your manifestation, your desire, especially a specific person, if your self-concept's shitty. That's why a lot of people only manifest a Texan, or they only manifest, hot and cold behavior. They're not getting what they want because they still have the SP more valuable than them in their mind. They still have a shitty self-concept. They still feel really insecure. They don't know that they're amazing and incredible, and they still need the 3D to confirm that and validate that for them. Oh, I have lots of tattoos, babe. I don't have a certain type. I just put things that I like. But I have lots of tattoos everywhere. What made you go blonde? You know what? I was never partial to blonde hair ever. My entire life was never drawn to it or attracted to it. And the more I just kept leveling up my self concept, one day, this is what I'm talking about. Like when you change who you are, your preferences for things, not all my preferences changed, but things will change. And all of a sudden, I found myself really drawn to blonde hair. And I was like, what is going on here? Because I was like, it wasn't my cup of tea ever. I've never been a blonde in my life. And I just really started finding myself drawn to it. And then I decided I wanted it. And that's exactly what happened. I became blonde. Now I'm like in love with it. How to level up your mindset. Well, I'm teaching you how to level up your mindset. I suggest go watch my YouTubes, those that are on TikTok. If you click the link in my profile, you can get all my social media. I have hours, hundreds and hundreds of videos ranging anywhere from like 8 minutes to over an hour of explaining exactly what you need to do to level up your mindset. You decide who you want to be, you decide what you want in your reality, and then you pay attention to your mind all day and change the thinking and persist in that until it becomes who you are. You persist in that until you know a new truth about yourself. You persist in that until you know a new truth about what you get to have in your reality. And it's easy, or is it simple, but it's not easy. I always mess that up. But you don't chase the things, guys. You allow your reality to shift, mold, and change and conform. And then the information gets downloaded in your brain. You get new ideas. You see things differently, new perspectives. You have different versions of people show up. You meet new people. You manifest in different experiences and things like that. So, your job is not to chase anything. Your job is to allow it to come to you because it always will. I just wanted to appreciate you, Kim. You're so good at what you do. Oh, thank you, T. I appreciate that. We'll put that one on the screen. That one's very nice. Thank you. Can only working on self-concept make your SP want you? Yes. If you've already affirmed for what you want, it's already out there. It doesn't just disappear. The reality is, no pun intended there, you're probably not receiving what you want because your dominant thinking is still the old version of you and it's focused on the old versions of SPs or your reality. So, the situation is this: you can do both. You don't have to just only work on your self-concept, but most people follow these people that tell you, oh, that's all you have to do. And it's not true. Those people don't manifest in consistent success. Those people are still feeling really insecure and not good enough, and they're not able to get what they want from SP or anyone else because they don't know their worth and value, or they're still manifesting in types of relationships that are not really fulfilling, and they're still settling. And that's okay. If that's where they're at, that's where they're at. But you have to understand that how you see yourself, which is your self-concept, determines the evidence you seek in your reality. It determines how you behave and show up in your reality. It determines the types of people and versions of people you manifest in your reality. And I don't know, this is a thing too. When people ask me questions like that, it just shows me that that type of question is you're, and I'm not saying this is where you're at, but I want you to hear me and understand this, that why would we rather choose to affirm for someone outside of us, right? That's not us, rather than understand how do I really think and feel about myself in relation to specific persons? because that's part of the unhealthy thinking. That's part of the thinking that someone thinks, oh, I feel awful, I feel insecure, I don't feel good enough. So if I get this specific person, that's why they affirm like crazy for them, because they want them to hurt. They want their specific person to be different so they can come into their reality and then make you feel better. But that's going against everything of how you actually consciously manifest what you want. That's why they don't get what they want. It doesn't stick. So why wouldn't you want to know you're amazing, incredible, and not need validation from anyone outside of you to make you believe that about yourself? Why wouldn't you want to automatically believe that about yourself? And a lot of people say, oh, but I do love myself. I do have good self concept. And then every time I hear that and they're coming to work with me, I'm like, no, you might have it in other areas, right? Because self concept isn't a blanket self concept, it changes in all areas of your life. And some of us have really amazing self concept in certain areas, and some of it's not so great in other areas. Sometimes it can generally be decent, but it could still be up leveled, things like that. So it's really understanding if you have patterns of relationships and every time you're in a connection with somebody, you feel insecure, you feel not good enough, you're waiting for the shoe to drop, you're manifesting in the same types of unfulfilling relationships that end up in emotional pain for you, no matter who the person is, then you don't have good self-concept and love. You might think you do, because this is how I was when I didn't have someone that I actually wanted to be with in my reality in the past. I felt great about myself. It wasn't until somebody came into my life that I manifested that I actually had feelings for, or was interested in them and wanted to be with them. And as I was dating them and things were progressing in my favor, I started getting really insecure. And then my true self-concept would kick in. I would get triggered and all these things were happening subconsciously. And then I would manifest the difference. I would manifest a really shitty outcome. So that's really what happens to a lot of people. So it isn't that you have to look at your own pattern and understand that if this has been my pattern, then I have to change my self-concept, because you can't be an insecure version of yourself that every time you get involved with someone you like and you feel not good enough and insecure, because one, that self-concept is not going to allow you to hold a favorable story of your specific person ever. Two, that type of self-concept is going to be reflected back to you. People, your SPs are going to have to show that eventually to you. So you're not going to win with that self-concept. That type of self-concept is not somebody who's in a loving relationship of their dreams. They don't have the person of their dreams because they don't know they're good enough to have the person of their dreams. So you make your own decision for you, right? You're all grown adults that you decide, am I worth changing my story of how I see myself? Am I worth where reprogramming my mind so I fucking know I'm like I know that I can get what I want? I say yes, you are. But I'm not you. I can't change your mindset for you. Why is it that I have the mindset that I create my own reality and that I'm powerful already, but haven't really had any shifts happen? You just persist. A lot of times people do this too, where it's like you're still looking the 3D and the evidence, like, why isn't it changing? Why isn't it changing? Well, it'll change when it changes. And it'll change. It's always changing, but you'll see it in your reality when it's ready to be seen in your reality. Until then, you keep knowing that it's on its way. Until then, you keep knowing that it's in process. Until then, you know that this is happening. It's inevitable, that it's already in motion. You just don't know if it's going to be showing you in your 3D reality in an hour, or it's going to show you in, 10 days, but you still persist in the story. A lot of times, the story you held in place for so long is still playing out. It hasn't caught up yet. You haven't pushed out enough of the new story to be so dominant over the old one that you're seeing all the massive changes. I promise if you stick with it, it just gets easier and easier. Yes, you can. Misfit78 says, Kim, I have a question. Should we talk to others while we're also manifesting our SP? You do what you want, babe. It's your reality you created. I've done that many times and they've all come back giving me what I wanted. So if you have a story, that says if I talk to other people, I won't get them, then that's what you'll manifest, right? But I always tell people you don't put your life on hold for anything. You just be the best version of you every day, reinforcing your self concept, knowing there's many options in the 8 billion people planet, okay? And that you get to have what you want, and you'll have other people show up with SP showing up, and then you will do the choosing rather than waiting to be fucking chosen, right? So you can date whoever you want and still get SP. You may not even want SP because most of you probably won't even want your SP back, because you'll realize that it really wasn't a true connection. It was just an old version of you that felt not good enough. And that was the last person you were connected to. You know what I mean? And some of you will, but you don't wait around, but you don't want to date other people if you still feel really insecure and not good enough about yourself, because you'll just keep manifesting in connections with people dating that don't pan out very well for you. But it also is a great opportunity to really see what is still in you, right? Like your insecurities and things, and story about love and how people show up for you as you're dating, because those people will be mirrors to you. But yes, have fun, live your best life. You don't wait for your manifestation ever. I don't care what you're manifesting. You don't sit around and not enjoy your life because you're waiting for something to show up. Guys, when um Garija Sharma, she says she's or sent me a super chat. So the problem is you got to send it or put write in the comments what your question was, because I'm not on YouTube live like directly. I'm on one stream live, and then they stream to Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube for me. So when people, I'm reading the chat stream all together, all three places are, I can see all the comments. And then what happens is it doesn't like on YouTube super chat, it flashes like red. So you see it, it stands out. So you see it, or flashes a different color. And on this thing, it doesn't show me a different color at all. So all the comments just kind of run together. But if you write it again, I'll look for your name and answer it. But I can't see them like I could on the other one. So I end up missing quite a bit. How do I become the person that isn't bothered that SP was intimate with someone else during the time we were not together? Babe, you work on your fucking self-concept. You have a story that's making you feel insecure about that. I would have a story that'd be like, well, we already know that that person didn't even compare to me. You know what I mean? We broke up once. This time is terrible. There's addiction, drugs abuse, and many people involved. I mean, so look at, you're manifesting in a version of someone who is chaotic and has a lot of issues going on. So then you have to look, I would look at, okay, one, what is going on with my self concept that this is the type of people that I'm manifesting in my reality? Because you cannot have a healthy, sustainable, long lasting relationship if somebody's in active addiction. You just can't. They're not stable within themselves. The drug addiction itself takes over and just creates a lot of betrayal, a lot of hurt, and a lot of pain for them, the drug user, as well as the people that love them, watching them kill themselves slowly, because that's basically what's happening. So, two things. One is you want to change your self concept, and you want to change your story of the types of people that come to you romantically, that they're all healthy and healed, right? But you really got to change your self concept so you're not manifesting in these types of people. And then you want to see this SP different, because as a therapist, I work with a lot of drug addicts. A lot of people can get sober, live an amazing, beautiful life if they stay sober, right? So you want to see him that way. And then you just got to release this version. This version is not going to give you what you want. He has to give himself and take care of himself. And you just want to allow that to conform. Allow him to, by you holding a new story of you, holding a new story of love, and holding a new story of him, that he's, getting healthy and taking care of himself, and he'll come to you when he's healthy to be in a good relationship with you. You're not going to get what you want with somebody who's in active addiction. It's just not going to happen. Do I pray to God? Well, isn't the source flowing through us all, which is why we all can manifest the reality of our dreams? So, yeah, I mean, I pray. To me, praying to God is not praying to something separate from me. I tell him my thoughts. I tell the source, this is what I want. And I trust and know, because I have that power bestowed upon me, like everyone else does, that eventually it'll create, or I'll experience it. My voice is like super deep today. So you don't force things, you don't chase things. You're looking at your 3D reality and you're understanding, if I'm being triggered, if I'm manifesting in things that don't feel good to me or not my preferences, I have to change my story of myself in relation to that. You're changing your self identity. That's what self concept is. You don't have just one self identity. You don't have just one self concept. You see yourself a certain way as a parent, as a sister, as a brother, as a mother, as a father, as a cousin, as a granddaughter, whatever, right? You see yourself different when it comes to how you dress. You see yourself different as a friend. You have a different self concept about how you drive. You have a different self concept about being a student. You have a different self concept if you work out. Like, you have all these different self concepts about so many different things. So, this is why you have to understand, if I feel insecure in a certain area of my life and I keep manifesting in a lot of chaos or things that don't feel good for me, I need to look at this area of my life. My therapist says I always choose addicts, so I have to change my self-concept. Yeah, and you have to change your story of love, because if we're always going with people that can't, because it's just another form of them not being able to give you what you want. You're putting yourself in a situation, knowingly dating someone who's in active addiction, that there's gonna be drama and chaos, and they're not gonna give you what you want. So yes, you have low self-concept if that's acceptable to you, and that's what you think love is and should feel like for you, and that's what you get to have, because that's rooted in pain. That's rooted in a lot of unfavorable circumstances, right, happening for you, because when addiction comes in the middle of everything. Nothing can thrive in addiction. It's really sad. It's a lot of trauma. Thank you for the rose, babe. It's a lot of trauma. It's a lot of chaos. It's just unhealthiness. And that person can't even give themselves. How are they supposed to give you something? You know what I mean? They don't even love themselves. They're killing themselves slowly. They're choosing to escape. They don't even know how to cope with their own emotions and deal with their inner world. They're not grounded, right? Which is why this has been happening. And so until they learn that, first they have to stop the drugs, then they have to do the inner work, and they have to practice all these things, and they have to change their self identity too, right? So do you. But in your reality, you can see them that they're healthy people, that anyone you desire comes to you healthy, stable, ready to give you commitment, because that's what you fucking deserve. How long does you're manifesting every day. You don't give up on what you want, guys. How do you not give up when your manifestations aren't showing up? Well, do you, so you don't trust in the unseen, you don't know you're worthy to live the dream life you want. That's why you give up. I don't give up. I do not give up. I don't give, and I don't make it about the thing outside of me. I have my specifics. I have the circumstances and experiences that, yes, I would like to have, but I make it about, who am I receiving this? What is different about me? Why do I want this experience in my life? What is going to be different about my life? What is going to be different about me having this? And then I practice becoming her over and over. And when I'm changing my self concept, my self identity in relation to that area of my life, I hold a favorable story. It comes very naturally because I see myself so highly in that area of my life. It's very easy for me to conclude logically that I'm going to get what I want because of how I see myself and what I know my truth to be. When I didn't see myself favorably, it was very hard for me to fully buy in and believe that I'm going to get what I want. And you do this before you get what you want. That's the whole thing. And if you guys are missing that, you got to go back to 101, manifesting 101, and understand I'm not doing this to get something outside of me. I'm doing this to change inside of me so then outside can reflect a different reality for me. Well, if you have a therapist, your therapist doesn't understand law of assumption. A lot of people don't understand law of assumption. Even the damn people that are teaching law of assumption, most of them don't even understand it. So you can't expect your therapist to understand that if they don't understand it, right? So instead of wasting your time in therapy telling your therapist, oh, I'm affirming and changing my story of other people, you just keep that to yourself and you have your own set of goals and reasons why you're choosing to go to therapy, and you work on that with your therapist in conjunction with, you changing your mindset and your story of how the world gets to show up different for you. How do you tap into the feeling of already having it within? Well, if you had what you wanted, what would be different about you? We all want things because we think it'll make us feel and be different. That whether if I have more money, what's the advantage of having more money? Why do you specifically want more money? Why do you specifically want a loving, fulfilling relationship? Why do you specifically want whatever it is that you want? You believe and know, if I have this, there will be something different. I will have a different experience. So then you want to understand, what is that I'm wanting from the outside? And then you understand that most of you will be able to identify it because there's a reason why you want it. And then you practice being that version of you. Well, if I had that, then that's what I would be. I'm believing if I have this manifested in my life, that I will be happy, I will be peaceful, I will have more power, I will be loved, I will be this, I will be that, right? So then you start practicing being that version of you, because that story, you're creating this story, you're creating this new experience for you, and you do it internally, and then outside has to be reflected back to you whenever it's reflected back to you. I know Masha's just like relaxed. Look, it feels fantastic to reinforce the new self concept despite what has or hasn't showed up. I love feeling like the amazing man I know I am. As a result, I'm no longer tolerating a lot of hot and cold behavior and disrespect. It's my assumption that as I continue to know that I am worthy and deserving of respect and prior oh my gosh, I can't say that word today. Being a priority, I will only attract women who respect, prioritize, and adore me. Thank you, Kim, for being the amazing coach that you are. You're welcome, my friend. And I'm so fucking happy that that is who you're turning into and who you are and who you know, like, as your truth, because that is a powerful man right there. That's a man who knows his worth, knows his value, and doesn't need to make anyone outside of him show up in order for him to know these things. He gets it. He's understanding that it's about me knowing how, this is who I am and this is what I get to have. And therefore allowing the 3D to catch up, that even if it's not showing right away, he knows it's going to eventually catch up. And the reality he's choosing to experience and live is going to be one where the women come on fucking point and give him everything he wants. And he's not sitting here forcing anything. He's just being the version of him that knows this, and this is his reality. And he allows it to come to him. That's what everybody wants. That's the key right there. That's exactly what you do. Hi, Kim. Going through a situation where I've experienced domestic violence with my SP, trying to figure out where I went wrong with my self concept. I got him back. We moved in together and things went to crap after us living together for 6 weeks. Okay, so first and foremost, please get somewhere safe. You never want to stay in a relationship. I don't care who, I don't care. You don't want to stay in a relationship where you're being abused verbally, mentally, emotionally, sexually, or physically. So please, I'm hoping you're already in safety, but if not, please get to safety and understand that you have to look at why was I willing to accept this, right? I don't know if you grow up in a violent home. A lot of times that can happen, right? We grow up in a violent home and then we think this is what love is, this is normal, this is how relationships are. Obviously that's not true, but we can believe that and think that if that's what we've seen. Or you may have low self-concept and think that for whatever reason this is what you're worth. This is the only way you can receive love, is that it's with violence, right? So you really just want to understand that no, I am worthy and deserving of more. I'm worthy and deserving of having men that love me, respect me, and value me, and treat me kind and nurture me and, don't hurt me, right? And work on your self concept, work on your story of love, that love feels safe, love is safe. The men I manifest in are healed and they're very loving and they're tender and they're caring and they're kind. You don't want the violent men, right? We don't want that shit. You deserve better, babe. So you just got to really get safe. That's your first priority, because you're not going to be able to create the reality you want. It's going to be hard. You can create it. You don't want to be trying to create something when you're literally in survival mode, not knowing, if there's going to be violence today or tomorrow. Like, that's not a way anyone should have to live. So get safe, work on you, work on your story of love, work on your story of how men in love show up for you, and just allow yourself to reprogram that and reinforce that new belief system. And eventually you will start manifesting in men who are kinder, men who love you and respect you and value you and would not ever lay a hand on a woman ever. That's what you deserve, and that's what you're going to get. Oh, thank you, Empress. She says, we're all grateful that we have manifested you into our lives, Kim. Thank you. Yes, work on your story of money. It's so fun. All right, this was a short but sweet one, but I wanted to come on and say hi, and we love you guys. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon again. Bye, everyone.